So I'm gonna tell you, I was looking for a second bike, but I really didn't thought I was gonna make it to the road glide. I really didn't. I thought I was gonna get maybe a deluxe, maybe I don't know, a heritage or something like that. But when I got into, I actually went to see the deluxe, and I looked, actually sat on it, right? I looked like a bear. I really did. I was like, wow, I'm like way too big for this bike, right? And again, no judgment. If that's what you want to do, you do that. But I'm talking about myself, me personally. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm too big. I'm too, cramped, and I'm not going to do that. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys' feedback, right? And again, as I was like looking at some of the bikes, this is the same place that I got my Road King, and it's a pretty good place. It has very good prices, really good actually. And I know the guy and all that. I saw the Road Glide, and the guy told me I had 30,000 miles, and I was like, nah, that's too many miles. Really, too many miles. I don't really want to. And then I spoke to my friend Jason, and my friend Jason was like, dude, that's not crazy amount. I mean, by no means are, 6,000 when I got my Road King. But nevertheless, that's a pretty good amount of amount for the year that it is, right? The 2009. So I started thinking about it, and one thing that attracted me to this bike, you see some of the B-roll here, is the fact that it has pretty much everything that I want. It really does. It has the apes, although these apes are not my favorite apes. I would have picked something else. But it has apes. That saves me a lot of money already, right? And it's the Road Glide, which is one of my favorite bikes. And the color and the condition is pretty prestige. Like, it's pretty good. So whoever had it actually spent some time taking care of it. And whoever had it actually spent some time making sure that it was taken care in the garage and all that stuff. So again, whoever had it did a good job making sure the bike kept a good condition, right? I wish I would have put different apes, but it is what it is. Wow, the longest light ever. Alright, so I'm going to say a couple things that I really don't like about this bike. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to talk about it. I don't think the bike itself. There's a couple things that I want to address on the bike, but overall, when I saw the bike, it's exactly what I wanted. Exactly to the T. A Road Glide with, with bars. I mean, ready to use. It has pipes. So again, I don't really have to do anything, guys. Essentially, what I have to do is just ride it. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for a bike that I could just buy and ride it. And when I saw the Road Glide, being that the Road Glide is one of my favorite bikes, I just got so excited. And you know what? Based on the condition, based on everything that it has, based on the fact that I don't have to spend an additional $1,000 to put the apes and all that, I was like, you know what? 30,000 miles ain't that bad. I went into Cycle Trader and I actually did some searches. And for the price that I got this one, I seen other bikes with essentially, I don't know, 40, 50,000 miles, even 60,000 miles for almost about the same price. I really got a good deal for this one. So I figured, you know what? I could sell it 2 years from now when I have put 20,000 miles, and I could sell it for pretty much the same amount of money that I bought it. That is not bad at all. That's actually a very decent deal, right? So again, I went for it. I pulled the trigger. I actually financed this bike. I got a pretty decent payment. I did got a raise on my job. So I was like, man, no big deal, man. I'm getting a raise. Let me get me this bike because I really like it. My Road King is paid off. And, let's do it, right? So I got the Road Glide. And let me just put out some of the things that I don't like in a way. It's going to be three things. First of all, the saddlebags. The saddlebags have this weird looking thing to close it. If you're a Harley owner, you know this. Harley used to have some weird looking lids to close your saddlebags, right? I don't like that. Obviously, that's something that I could either deal with it or I could change it. I think that I'm going to deal with it because you know what? I think in a way that I'm not used to it. And once I get used to it, I think I'm going to be just fine. Really are. So that's going to be number one. Number two, man, the apes are great. I love the fact that it has apes. But whoever had it, you know, put 1-inch apes. And as you can see, the cables are out. So I don't know why they didn't spend a little bit more money putting maybe 1.5-inch apes and then putting those cables in the inside. It seems to me that it would have been a better job. But whoever, you know, maybe whoever did it was in a budget. Whoever did it, you know, just wanted to put some apes because they had them hanging around, and that's it. But again, am I gonna change it? Probably not. I'm just gonna ride with it because this bike is for me to ride. This bike is for me not to put in the garage and be like, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, I want to ride. So again, I wish that that would have been a little bit better. And then the other two things actually is going to be the clutch. Is something that I got to get used to it, because the clutch, you actually have to kind of like almost let it go. So I'm not really sure. Put in the comments, maybe maybe something that I could do to make it, I don't know, maybe I got to get used to it. Again, you know, by Road King, the friction zone is at a different location than this one. So again, knowing that I'm not used to it, I'm kind of like switching gears, not switching gears, but when I'm like trying to get that friction zone, is becoming a little bit of an issue. And again, I got to get used to it. One last thing, I actually told the guy to fix this, and I think he did fix it a little bit, but I'm not really sure. The throttle feels a little sticky. Feels a little, it's not really sticky, it's grainy. When like you push it back, it feels like it gets stuck a little bit. So I know there's some adjustments in here that I can potentially mess with that and make it really nice. Maybe I could lubricate some of the cables. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know if you lubricate these cables. I know the clutch cable gets lubricated, but you know, obviously this is the front brake. Obviously the cables in the inside, I don't know. The Road King has like two little cables that you mess with it, but I don't know how that goes with this motorcycle. But I kind of show you here when I'm taking this left turn. I got to be really, really careful because again, you know, I'm used to being able to get the friction zone in a different location right there almost. But anyways, this bike is awesome. So now that I got my complaining out of the way, this bike is just freaking awesome. I'm really digging it, guys. I'm really loving it. I don't know what to tell you. I'm really happy with this motorcycle. Way different than a 2005 Road King. So a couple things that I want to mention with that, you know, kind of speaking from some of the experience that I've been having for the last week. I think it has been, I don't know, a couple days, maybe a week or so, or maybe just a week since I got the motorcycle. But one thing that I will tell you is that the bike is so much stable. Really, really stable. Now, I'm not really sure if it is the fact that it has a thicker tire than a 2005 Road King. Not really sure if it is the frame of this bike. Obviously, being a 2009 has a different frame. Put comments down below. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think it is actually. But I'm going to tell you, this bike is planted. Like the Road King is, not to compare the Road King to this right now, but I feel like in the Road King there is a lot more movement than in this bike. On this bike I feel planted. Like I'm not, you know, I'm just going in a straight line and I'm not moving. And that is freaking awesome. It feels more stable. It feels more just nicer. Now, I kind of gonna go from, maybe to put it in an idea for some of you guys, if you have a nicer car, maybe like a truck or something like that, and then you drive like a little car, and you could feel the difference. Like you could feel more bumps, you could feel more, I don't know, movement from the wing, all that. You don't feel that much in here. Like you don't feel as many bumps, you don't feel as many movement or anything like that. Again, it feels very, very nice. It feels just planted and really, really nice. Corvettes, baby. Two things you do when you get old. You get a Corvette or you get a motorcycle that is really expensive. That's it. Now, there's a couple things that I'm liking so far. First of all, it has 6 gears. It has a 96 cubic inch and obviously 6 gears. And I know right now people have a 114. I totally get that. But I'm going to tell you, from the 88 to the 96, you can feel the difference. You really can. And maybe I do the tuning on this one because I do have the Power Vision. Maybe I could pay for the extra, again, for the extra license or whatever it is to tune this bike. I'm not even sure if it was tuned or not. Other than maybe a stage 1, I'm not really sure what they've done to it. But again, you see the difference, big time. You really can see the difference. And that 6 gear is very, very nice. Really, really nice. I like it. You know, when I go into high speed, you switch to 6 and it lowers those RPM. The bike feels really, really nice. So again, digging that. So 96 is definitely a pretty upgrade for me. Again, I know some of you guys are like, I got a 114. Well, I had an 88. So from an 88 to a 96, it felt like an upgrade. Now, if you're going from a 114 to a 96, it's definitely going to feel like a downgrade. So, but so far, it feels pretty good. Now, another thing that I like is going to be the tag. So, not really used to having a tag because obviously the Road King didn't have one. But man, it's kind of nice to see what I'm doing. You know, like right now, I think I'm in 5th gear, 3,000, almost 2,800 RPM, right? So that's kind of nice to know that information, right? I don't know if I'm going to need it or not. But again, kind of nice to know that information. If I switch to another gear, I'm in 6 right now. I just went down to like 2,500 RPM. So you can see how it kind of went down. Again, I don't know how needed or how much I'm going to use that. But again, it's really, really nice to have. Last thing that I'm going to say that I kind of dig, and I was actually surprised. I really was surprised when I got the motorcycle. I'm going to take a left turn. I can't take this sun in my face, man. But it's the radio. And when the guy showed me the radio plays pretty good. In fact, I just got a Bluetooth little device to connect to my phone. But when the guy told me about the radio, I really didn't even pay attention to him. I was like, whatever. I listen to my music in my helmet. That's kind of what I said to him. And he was like, oh, okay. And continue to other things on the motorcycle. But again, as I started listening to the radio, it's like, wow. It has been one of my favorite things on this motorcycle, guys. I just love the radio. Now, I can only imagine a motorcycle like a brand new 2021 or something like that with a newer radio. I can only imagine because this is a 2009 and the radio is pretty decent. Really pretty decent. I'm going, you could go 70 miles per hour. So you could bring your visor up and you could listen to music pretty well. So again, I'm going 70 miles per hour. I got my visor up. I'm listening to music. I'm getting some wind in my face. Again, really, really nice. I'm actually very surprised on the radio. Really excited about it. Again, I'm going to be using it a lot. Would I upgrade the radio? Nah. Again, guys, I'm not really planning to upgrade anything. I'm planning just to ride. I don't want to get caught up into, should I do this? Should I do that? Nah. I'm just going to ride. I really am. I like having a trunk. And I thought about just putting my regular trunk, the leather trunk that I have when I go out, and that's it. Obviously, I'm going to have to get another mount because the mount that I have is for the older style motorcycle. But again, I'm not planning to do much more. Now, one last thing that I'm going to say is that I can see when people make statements such as like, man, you got to get used to it. You got to get used to a Road Glide. Now, the Road Glide is a mount frame motorcycle, the fairing. The fairing is mounted to the frame. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. So when you move when you move your bars and your motorcycle, you're not moving the frame. And what I have come to find out is that even though it looks heavy, even though it looks like it will be a pain on the butt, it's actually not. It's actually a pretty nimble bike. It's actually a bike that you can move around really, really well, and it does not feel heavy at all. Like, I'm pretty in shock. I thought it would have felt heavier than what it actually is. But again, when you take turns and things like that, the fact that the frame doesn't move or the fairing doesn't move, it may be like a first initial, I don't know, like an initial like, oh man, what's going on here? But I'm going to tell you, after a couple miles, after riding the bike a couple days, that's it. That kind of goes away. It's not something that you're going to hate. It's something that the first time that you ride it, you're going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? But after a few days, you're going to be like, it's just another motorcycle, if you want to call it that. And by the way, many motorcycles are like this. This is not new. If you look at the sport bikes and things like that, they have the same concept. So again, it's something that a lot of companies use, and it's not as unique to Harley like it is in the sport bikes and things like that. But again, it is what it is, right? So again, really nice bike. Man, I'm really happy with my purchase. I'm really happy with this motorcycle. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the Road King. I'm thinking that I may make it a cholo bike and then just take it out every now and then because it's paid off, it's mine. So really not losing any money. I'm thinking I may sell it too and make some money out of it. I don't know, guys. It's just going to sit in the garage now. I'm going to take it every now and then whenever I feel like it. But overall, I'm digging this Road Glide. And I tell you what, I'm very, very happy with it. 2009, so I get that new frame, or newer frame than the old frame. Obviously, 2014, there was another frame that was developed, but I got a newer frame than what I had. I got a better engine than what I had. I don't have to worry about tensioners, none of that silly stuff. I get that 6th gear that everybody says that you need to have for whatever reason. A more stable bike. I like the fact that it has apes, even though not the apes that I wanted, but I like the fact that they're already there. And overall, I think it's a pretty decent bike. I'm digging it. Let me know what you think. Put comments down below. And as always, gotta stay in control.